Hello guys and welcome to Coding with Tom. Today we're going to build a vanilla JavaScript accordion that will allow us to pick any kind of element that we want to use for it. In this case we're going to use addings. And yeah, this tutorial is intended to help you understand how the DOM works, how to get and manipulate elements from the DOM, and how to create some basic functionality using JavaScript. It's not intended to be a CSS tutorial, and it's going to be pretty ugly, but in terms of functionality, it's going to be excellent for you to learn a bit more about JavaScript. So let's get it started. So we're going to use JS Fiddle for this, and JS Fiddle is actually great for these small snippets of code because it's an online coding environment and you can just code as you wish and you can share by just choosing the link and sending to anyone. And yeah, we could create a file on our computer, but considering that we're not actually building a full website, I think that there's no need for that. We can just do it online in any browser and it works perfectly fine. We could also use CodePen, but it's just a matter of preference. So let's start by creating the body of our accordion. I'm going to create an heading 2, and it's what's going to be our main tabs, and I'm just going to copy it, and I'm just going to do this, and this is a 2 and this is a 3, and right after our heading I'm going to set a paragraph with some information here. I'm literally just typing it because there's no need for dummy text here for the showcase. And actually I'm going behind. I'm just going to actually choose a div. I'm going to wrap my paragraph inside a div, and I'll explain why when we end the video. I'm just going to press this here, and I'm just going to set this here, and I'm just going to paste this here. And if you press the tidy button, it will tidy your code, and if you press the run, it will show everything. Now, this really isn't an accordion, but it's the skeleton of one. And the first things that we need to do is to hide this div right below our heading. And that's exactly what we're going to do using a CSS selector. We're going to press the plus button, and then we're going to place the div, and this is a CSS selector that is basically just an adjacent sibling combinator that just tells the CSS to pick the element, the div right below our heading, it at the same sibling, and we're just going to do a display none here, and if you press run, it's going to be hidden. I'm also going to pick a class. I'm just going to write a class here, and I'm going to call it information, block information. I'm just going to place it as display block here. I'm not going to assign it to anyone, but I want in my JS code to assign this class to this div, so I can then choose display information, because I don't want to style my code too much in my JS, simply for clarity. I mean, we have CSS, that's the purpose of it. We're not supposed to actually style it in here. Oops. We're not actually supposed to style it in here, and there's really no need for it. I'm just gonna press run. It's not blocked in, it's now hidden. So yeah, now I'm going to create my function, and I'm going to call it accordion. Remember to always name your functions accordingly to what they're doing, or to properly comment your code. It's really important for clarity. And yeah, I'm going to just call it right below. So now I need to grab every single heading from our code, and I'm going to do that by just get elements by tag name, and I'm going to choose the heading 2. And of course, I want to do this in my document. Of course, if we had a more complex code here in HTML, we would need to use a get elements by class name or get elements by ID. But in this case, since we're just working with heading 1, heading 2, divs and paragraphs, I'm just going to use it as by tag name because it's easier. I'm also going to assign it to a variable, because what this does, what get elements by tag name does, it just returns a list, and we need to go around that list, iterate that list to actually be able to do something. So it's a list with every single h2 with 0 based, obviously, and for that we need to use a for loop. And here we have let I and y is less than x dot length I plus plus. And basically what this for loop does is just creates a new variable with assigns it to 0, and while that variable is less than the length of our list, that is 3. I'm just going to add one more to this variable, and yeah, that's basically it. I mean, when it's considering that the list is 0 based, it means that the first element is going to be at 0, the second element is going to be at 1, the third element is going to be at 2, and if we kept going to match the length of our list, we wouldn't get anything, because I mean, there's no element at index number 3, right? So yeah, so now we have to call each element. If we have our list that it's by X, and we can call the element at index that we're setting here at I. And just to see if it's working, I'll just set some style with some color, and if we do red here, it's actually working. Obviously, you don't want to do this on JavaScript. It's just to be sure that everything's working, and we actually see that we're properly calling every element from the H2. So now we have to tell our JavaScript that we want to click this and to display this. And to do that, we just do an add event listener here. And of course, we want to add an event listener to our list elements. And the add event listener takes 2 parameters. One of them is what we want it to do. I want it to be on a click, and then we have to describe what it's actually going to do, and we do that via a function that we're going to create here. So now we need to target this div right below the H2, and we can do that in a similar way to that we did here with the CSS selector, but in this case we're actually going to use our next element sibling. And our next element sibling basically just targets what's right after the element that we're working with. And the element that we're working with, and you can't forget this, it's each element from our list. And here we have it. Now, like I said, we can style it here, and we can do the style.display equals to block, and if we press run, you can see that it's not working. And it's not working because I forgot a T here, and it should work now. Here we have it. And yeah, so basically now that when we click on their tab, the information appears. But we created a class here, and I want to use this class. So I can just change this and select class name, and select that class name to correspond to block information, and just do this. And here we have it working once again. However, once I click tab again, the information doesn't disappear, and I need it to disappear to be an actual accordion. So we need to change the class name to class list, and class list opens a lot more possibilities when it comes to adding or removing classes. And we actually want to toggle this class because I want to be able to set it as display block, and I want to remove the display block from it and making it display none once again. So I want it to toggle, and I want to toggle exactly this class, and I can just delete this after. And now if I press run, I'm going to be able to have a functional accordion. And that's basically it, guys. It's really easy. I mean, we're doing it in 11 lines, even less if we remove this one. It's incredible easy accordion, and it works marvelously. Now, we set it inside a div here. We could just target the P if we wanted, but we set it inside a div because we can now add just information here without having to worry about our code. We can just have it here, and we can just add any kind of information that we need and we want, and it will always work. And there we have it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. If you enjoyed this tutorial and you're interested in seeing more, don't forget to subscribe and comment with any doubt that you have or any idea for future videos or anything that just comes across your mind. And I hope to see you next time.